So I tell you, I get no respect. I get no respect. I go to the supermarket the other day. I went to go get some groceries. I put the groceries up on the countertop, and the damn clerk looks at me and says, "Fuck you, you piece of shit," and then takes a shit in his hand and he throws it at me. I tell you what, I get no respect. So Papa Bush is dead, right? Baby Bush, Papa Bush. You got Poppy Bush is what they called him in his real lifetime, but really George H.W. Bush was the little Bush, and then W. Bush is the big Bush. So really without W, George H.W. ain't much of anything. And I'm dating myself here, but born in 82, so that means Ronald Reagan was president up until the time I was 6 years of age. And then 1989, 1990, 1991, and 1992 were the 4 years that George Herbert Walker Bush was in power. There was two major interesting things, or three or four. There's not that many things, but when it comes to big stuff, there's some things to talk about. There's some policies to be discussed. The fall of the Berlin Wall happened under George H.W. The dissolution of the Soviet Union happened under George H.W. Bush. A lot of people said it was Ronald Reagan's rhetoric, but it came toppling down under George H.W. Bush. So what was his rhetoric? 1,000 points of light. I'm George Bush, and I like Denny Carvey's impersonation of him. It's dead on. Papa Bush didn't like the limelight. He didn't like the whole politicking scene. He didn't like to use fancy words and, he was very, in some respects, he's controversy-free. He was drama-free when it came to any kind of, squabbles and fights, and there wasn't any scandals during his administration. During his administration, he didn't sleep with anybody or get any blowjobs in the Oval Office, even though that's, $87 million worth of tax dollars the Republicans spent in order to find that out about our precious Bill Clinton, right? So, yeah, maybe if we spend $87 million, we'd probably find out that Poppy Bush, old Mr. Copperfield, right? So R.I.P., Mr. Copperfield, R.I.P. This is important, okay? So we've taken some very important people's careers down. So Kevin Spacey, right? He was messing with a 14-year-old boy. Well, he shouldn't have been messing with the 14-year-old boy. That was correct. That was correct judgment. He lost his entire show, so he's getting all his millions or what the fuck ever he was making. So Kevin Spacey is out. Louis C.K. and Al Franken is out. Stan Lee, he just died. You know what Stan Lee was accused of doing? Stan Lee, this fucking pervert, right? This man, this creepy man, he was in a hotel room, and he had a masseuse, and masseuse was massaging him, and while the masseuse was massaging him, guess what Stan Lee was doing? He started fondling himself. He started playing with himself. And even though that's not right, it's not right. Even in that circumstance, she's uncomfortable doing that, but a masseuse, a woman, touching, putting her hands all over him. And it's in his own private hotel room. Oh, Bafam Goo, what the fuck is going on? And then Al Franken, the lion of the Senate. Who's going to oppose Donald Trump now? I mean, Al Franken was opposed, to him. I didn't give a shit about Al when it came to the super delegates and how they fucked over Bernie Sanders, both him and Sarah Silverman, which, by the way, happy birthday, Sarah Silverman. Happy birthday, Richard Pryor. This is December 1st birthdays, Richard Pryor, Sarah Silverman, and Pablo Escobar. So those are some December 1st birthdays. Al Franken's also rich and powerful. He can defend himself. But what did he do? Al Franken had posed with, a woman, and I don't think he was nice to her. So to say that, he's innocent of the thing, he was making fun of her. He was like, insulting her. But for a fucking picture, you're gonna not be a senator? You know Mitch McConnell has been the fucking senator of Kentucky, fucking the working and poor and homeless classes over for the last 30 to 40 fucking years. nonstop, the richest fucking man. Don't give a shit about the people of Kentucky. And yet, we don't, if we found a picture of him being fun, he's boring and stupid. He actually did do something. He got kicked out of Fort Knox for sucking dicks, and then he's going to go against gay marriage like a hypocrite. So, he's a gay man, and he got kicked out of Fort Knox, so that's, what the fuck. If anything, you can point it out in his defense. Fort Knox, the military shouldn't have kicked him out for, wanting to suck a little dick. If Mitch McConnell wants to suck a little dick, Mitch McConnell should be allowed to suck a little dick. He's been using negative campaigning. He doesn't tout his accomplishments. He's just an evil force in American politics. He's one of the worst. And yet Kentucky embraces him for 36 years. And maybe more, 42. Coming up, in 3 years? So Al Franken did not deserve to get fucked over the way he fucking did. You're the senator, Al Franken. Just because you had a picture when you were a comedian, you did comedian things. And Louis C.K. is a comedian. All but, one thing? There was like 6 or 7 different reports of all these women coming forward saying he jacked off in front of them. Well, he jacked off in front of them with their permission. These are adult women. And if you, you adult women, you're with a man, he's not got a gun to your head, he's not trying to attack you, he has no power over you whatsoever, and he invites you into his hotel room to masturbate to you, and then when you come to the hotel room and he starts jerking it just like he said he was going to do, then get the fuck out, just walk away and leave. There is 2 ladies, there are 2 women there, they both could have just... And then when they're leaving, he's like, which is Susan? Which, what were your all's names? So he's still fucking funny. He's a man, he likes to have sex and orgasm, right? So now we all get to know that when he jerks off on his big old fat fucking stomach. But Louis C.K. didn't deserve it. Maybe one time he was a writer, and so he had power over the person, so he needs to make restitution with that. But with the other ones, not at all. Not at all. And maybe this just goes to show you, I don't know. I can't tell you. It depends on how bad the allegations are. When they accused Morgan Freeman, he was like, you're trying to undo my entire motherfucking life here. You're not going to undo my life. No fucking way. So he, went balls to the wall. Whereas Papa Bush is going to get accused of being Professor Copperfield. So this old-ass fucker, right, who never had sex with anybody else but Barbara Bush, which that kind of shows you what kind of man he is right there, right? He's a little bitch. He's a little Barbara Bush bitch. Barbara Bush is the man. Barbara Bush is the controller. Do this, do that. She's the dominant one. He just goes along with her, and then, God, she's not even pretty, so she's dominant. She takes away his manhood. She's not even attractive. Why the fuck? I mean, he's gay as hell. That has to be gay. Any person who would ever be with Barbara Bush is gay. And, it's gross. That's gross. I wouldn't fuck her with your vagina. So, that is a nasty specimen of a human being there. So, I feel you. Papa Bush. I get you. He's an old-ass fucking man. He was, rich and powerful. What the fuck? When everybody says they love him and they care about him and they don't mind taking a picture with him, right? They don't mind taking his soul, right? Take that picture and then his soul's taken away. They don't mind doing that. So whenever they were taking pictures of old Papa Bush would say, hey, you know who my favorite magician is? Old Copperfield. And then he'd grab a big old handful of ass. And that's, I think it's also called misdemeanor sexual assault. So this, misdemeanor sexual assaulter, misdemeanor sexual assault. Where did I write that down? Write it down somewhere. But that's what it's called there, Poppy Bush, old Poppy Bush. Old Professor Copperfield. I guess he can't Copperfield no more. But if we're going to ruin these other guys, men who had careers and money, we stopped them mid-stream, right on the train, right as they're on the plane and they're flying. We went ahead and ruined them. But we're going to what? All of a sudden, when it comes to politics, when it comes to the man who the entire reason for the Persian Gulf War was to get rid of America's Vietnam syndrome. we were too pensive. We were too afraid of attacking any other countries and going into war after Vietnam. Because what a blunder. What a fucking blunder. What a big-ass fucking mistake. Don't want to jump in there and get another quagmire, right? So Poppy Bush says, we're only going to stop Iraq from going into Kuwait, and then we're calling it quits. And I'll talk about the war here in a second. But I can't get past this Professor Copperfield. So Professor Copperfield, we're all going to talk about how great he was, how good of a man, how courteous he was. Maybe he said he apologized, whereas he didn't get all lawyered up. But, you know, is that okay? Is that acceptable? He could go around giving misdemeanor assaults, minor misdemeanor assault, not minor, but, you know, going around just fucking filling people up and then having a stupid joke to go along with it. It's like, man, if you're that powerful of a man, just fucking grab it, right? Just grab it. Why make a stupid-ass joke? So now it's like memorable. Everybody's like, oh, shit. And so he apologized. There's three women that came forward and said he did this, so when they're posted for a picture and he's smiling, he's sitting there grabbing ass, right? And so, you know, that is fucking sexual assault. Don't put your fucking hands on people that don't want to be touched. Shit. It's not that hard there, Poppy Bush. So Poppy Bush is a Me Too fucking molester, right? Just like Kevin Spacey, just like Weinberg or Weinstein, right? So old Papa Bush and Harvey Weinstein, Stan Lee and Harvey Weinstein, they're all birds of a feather. They flock together, right? And now that I'm thinking about Harvey Weinstein, he did some, like, you know, casting couch things. If you want to be in my movie, then you better have sex with me kind of shit. He was creepy about the damn thing. It's like these powerful men, Jesus Christ, just learn how to talk regular, learn how to just be a person, be a human being. I mean, you already got the stature and the money, so really you just need what? The fucking dick. Okay, so let's talk about Papa Bush's legacy. Who is this solo bitch? Papa Bush is there for 4 years, so he was one of the few people that didn't get 2 elections, right? Obama got 2 terms, W got 2 terms, Bill Clinton got 2 terms, Ronald Reagan got 2 terms. Really, if you're president, you get a second term. But Papa Bush, he was so dull and boring and stupid and didn't do shit for nobody. Well, he you know, big on the war on drugs, right? And, so, what happened? We went to the Persian Gulf War under Bush in 1991. There's a lot of stuff here, so I'm just going to kind of read a bunch of facts, okay? So, misdemeanor, felony, assault, sexual assault, misdemeanor. It was a misdemeanor, Poppy Bush. So when he wasn't going around grabbing women's asses that didn't give him permission to do it, and he's just grabbing on women, just, you know, touching them and grabbing them and not asking for their permission, and it's not his wife, right? Uh-oh, that's cheating. And then the one thing I will say, actually, he apologized, but he said, well, sometimes he would pat women's asses. He would pat women's behind. This is his PR people, too, so that's the best they could come up with. Sometimes he would pat their asses, so he wasn't grabbing them. And you can't grab a pussy. I mean, you can, but it'd be like grabbing what? It'd be like grabbing a goddamn thimble. You don't grab a thimble, right? You kind of pick the thimble up, and you maybe you tap it a little bit. You kind of tap it, and then it just, you just smile, just kind of keep tapping. Maybe kiss, maybe some mouth stuff, but grabbing it? What are you grabbing? You grab ass, you can grab some tits, you can grab, their love handles, you can grab their head. But, yeah, the grab a pussy thing, I don't fucking stand. These Republicans, they're deviants, they're sexual deviants. They do not understand themselves, so therefore they don't know how to best represent themselves to properly. Okay, so Papa Bush is dead, and actually I'm going to come back and talk about his legacy, but we got to talk about the Soviet Union dissolves, the Berlin Wall falls, they're going to blame an economic recession and some other shit. There is Ross Perot, got 19%, but really it was just a general malaise. Poppy Bush wasn't exciting, he was boring, and the very few things that he did just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. One fucking war. And in a way, it was a splendid little war. So the Poppy Bush did it right. Baby Bush didn't do it right at all. So Poppy Bush did it legally by international law, but Baby Bush said, I don't give a goddamn about international law. I'm going to do as the fuck as I please. So Poppy Bush is responsible for Baby Bush. Poppy Bush is responsible for Jeb Bush. Poppy Bush is also responsible for Bill fucking Clinton. If he wasn't such a shitty president, the American people in 1992 would not look towards Bill Clinton to be their savior. So he also got us into the Somali War. He also invaded Panama. So I'll talk more about that coming up.